just get into it. The goaltending was solid for most of the game. In fact, Greiss made some really good saves. But in the shootout, and he held his own in overtime, but in the shootout, he went way too far out of the crease. He fell way too easily for fakes. He was just jumpy. He was jittery. It was like he wasn't familiar with shootouts, which makes sense. We haven't had a shootout all year. And I don't know how many he has had in the past, but he's played for a decent amount of time, so you'd think he would have been in a decent amount of shootouts. But it seemed like he was a rookie in his first ever shootout. He was just way too jittery. He was way too spastic and easy to fake. He just seemed like he wanted no part of those shootout shots. And it sucks because he was playing really well tonight. He was playing really well. Sucked. The defense was actually solid. Like the goaltending, this was a surprise to me. We actually played some good defense. In overtime, we were actually kind of aggressive, and that's why we stayed alive. The only problem is, whenever somebody screens our goalie, we don't do anything about it. That's one of the main things that's been a problem, and it still is a problem, is we don't do anything whenever anybody screens our goalie. We don't set anybody there to try and shove him out, and if we do, he just kind of stands there. It doesn't really do anything to him. Like, we just handle goalie screens on our own goalies terribly. It's really bad. But yeah, on to the next thing. Our offense got going. We actually capitalized. This is another one of those games, we capitalized on shots, except for a few times. Like, whenever there's a loose puck, every single player that's close to the net that could get the loose puck in is a deer in the headlights. It wasn't good. Especially in overtime and in the end of the third period, where there was loose pucks right in front of the net, and we didn't do anything. It is frustrating to watch over and over and over again, times where we could have scored, but didn't, because we're too scared to shoot the puck, I guess. But we actually got our offense to going. This is kind of like a glimpse at what would happen if we were actually clicking like other teams do. But obviously it's a bit harder for us because we're like the special needs, special ed hockey team right now. But yeah, on the next one. In summary, we were good in regulation and in overtime, but then in the shootout we choked. And we were just slowly we were still solid through the second and third period, but we were just slowly breaking apart throughout the second and third. And that's what led to overtime. And then we actually kind of did good in overtime, and then in the shootout we fell apart. It was bad. I didn't like it. I didn't like how we played. Well, I like how we played in regulation and in overtime. I like that we were aggressive. But in the shootout, I didn't like how we played. See you guys next time. As always, I'm not funny, and I'm glad the season's almost over. It's becoming torture to watch these games.
Love on each other, as in